Oh, hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday. Kendall Valenzuela here. Adam Ronis with you on this Friday morning, getting you ready for all things Week 11 in the NFL, breaking down that Thursday night football game, or should I say the game that we just said. All right, there is TreVeyon Henderson. We love to see it. We've got a lot to break down. Adam, how you doing? How's it going?
I'm doing okay.
Just
Hanging in
okay.
there.
What?
Yeah, I
What's
don't know.
wrong?
I think I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm getting sick from the weather all week and
Oh
being outside.
no. Wait, did
Yeah.
you talk about your game yesterday? Did you tell the good
No,
people?
no, I
What?
did it.
Adam,
No,
I leave for one day and you don't update the people on everyone on your life?
I
I've
did
got three
not.
messages about your softball game. Do you want to tell everyone what happened?
Yeah, we won 4-3, so won the
Woo!
championship. Nice season.
There we go.
Everything came together late. It wasn't a good start to the year, but we talk about this in sports all the time. Everything came together at the perfect time. So, yeah, now I will not play until April. If I was living
Rest up.
in
Yeah.
your area, I'd probably still be playing because of the
Oh, for
weather. That's the
sure.
one thing I don't like about the East Coast. Now, I grew up in New York, so I love it. I know a lot of people wind up leaving, and a lot of it, when I hear people, yeah, I can't take the winters anymore. It's too cold. I'm okay with it. But the one aspect that I don't like is not being able to play softball for about 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, you could play year round over here if you wanted to, except for today. It's supposed to rain for like 5 days over here.
Oh,
We don't know what to do with ourselves.
really? Well,
Yeah.
you're always indoors anyway, so
That's
you
true.
just go
It's
to
true.
sleep like you
But
usually
funny
do.
enough, I
How are you
love the
feeling?
rain.
Because you
I'm
missed
great.
yesterday.
I know I'm great. I was preparing myself for Thursday night football. I was just thinking to
Getting
myself,
sick about
getting
that?
getting sick about TreVeyon Henderson, thinking to myself, man, how is he going to do? But yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm
One
telling
of
you, I got three messages about people asking about your softball game. You have
well,
to
I
update our
appreciate that. They
listeners.
can just message me directly next time, but that's cool. Because yeah, a couple people did. I do hear from sources the reason
Oh,
why you were out is due to exhaustion that you stayed up till 7
ah,
p.m. one night.
you know what? Do we have to do this today? This is
Yes, we
this is
do.
what we're doing.
This is what
I
happens when
stayed
you
up
miss the
till 8.
show.
I know I had a great record too. I stayed up till 8:30 and all of a sudden my body was shutting down. It said, "No, we
Yeah.
can't do this." Could you imagine though? Well, you need to sleep though. If you're
Oh,
feeling
I do.
sick,
Yeah,
well,
I'm not.
it was so cold when you were out there. That's
Monday
the
and
bad
Tuesday
part.
were brutal. Wednesday was actually okay, but yeah, I think the first night it felt like 25 degrees out
Oh
with
my
heavy winds.
no. You wear a jacket out there?
Nah,
No.
just like a thin
See,
hoodie
that's
and
crazy.
a hat and those winter
You need
beanie
the fanny
hats.
pack
Yeah.
and the hand warmer. I don't
Nah,
know what we're doing. We can
but
have that next year.
hey, I guess it was worth it when you win, right?
Exactly. Now, if you would have lost, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah,
You
for
would have said,
sure.
"And I'm getting
I would
sick.
have
This
I
is
would have felt
crap."
like the Jets then.
Oh,
Oh,
we
you
can
like that? You
look.
like
That's
that?
good. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good one. I'll say that. Yeah, the Jets. I mean, what are we? What are we really gonna say about the Jets? Can we start with the happy positives, and that's
hmm
looking over at the yeah, look at I mean the Patriots won this game 27-14, but obviously the big thing that we have to talk about here is TreVeyon Henderson. Of course, you heard Drake May getting all the MVP chants as they were leaving the field, and we can break him down, but TreVeyon Henderson has arrived. And I think we're gonna have some conversations here going forward. If and when Ramondre Stevenson is ready to come back, are they going to continue splitting this workload? Because TreVeyon Henderson looked phenomenal last night. This is after he ran for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns over the Bucks. He totaled 93 yards on 24 touches last night, and three of those were touchdown. It was two rushing, one receiving. And I think the other thing that I saw here, Adam, when I was watching this game, is that he's been the outside big play threat for the Patriots. But what we saw in this game last night was that he is plenty capable running between the tackles. And I think those were questions that we had, maybe the organization had, everyone had, I don't know, because rookies, they tend to bounce to the outside a little bit more. But what we saw last night was so good for him. If you started him in fantasy, which I think everyone who had him did, you're sitting pretty to start the weekend. It was a great day for him.
Oh yeah, we started
Oh,
him in
yeah.
our charity league.
Yes, we did.
Finally, all that money I spent from his fab is paying off. But I am still concerned that we do not see this workload when Stevenson comes back. I think we brought it up on the show the other day that
Hmm.
Dan Graziano on ESPN had reported, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday in his column on ESPN, that Stevenson will go back to his role when he's ready to return. We did see Henderson, the yards per carry weren't great in two of the three games. He didn't break off a long run in this one. I do think that touchdown where he was breaking tackles near the
Hmm.
goal line, that to me was huge because you want to show that near the goal line that you can take on all those defenders, get through, because he carried the pile into the end zone. So that was good. He was more involved in the pass game this week compared to last week because I was on his receiving prop last week.
Nice.
No, it didn't cash last week.
Oh,
It was one
sorry.
catch for 3
Oh,
yards.
I thought you meant this week.
Nah, this week I didn't go back to it because I thought they might
Dang.
play from ahead. And the Jets gave him a battle early. It was 14-7. But so, yeah, I do think you're very happy, obviously, if you have Henderson, if you've played him these few weeks. But I am concerned that it could be more of a 50-50 split going forward with Stevenson getting more of the goal line work.
You don't think he's given him something to think about at least?
Yes.
And here's where I agree. This team loves Ramondre Stevenson. They've got loyalty to Ramondre Stevenson, and we've seen it before in the past.
Yes. Now, the one positive aspect is so they have the Bengals in their next matchup. So both backs, if Stevenson were to come back, both can go off. Then they get the Giants. Then they have their bye week. Then they have the Bills. That's going to be no, you can run all the Bills now.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, we'll see. Ravens have been better. We'll see if that continues. The Jets again, and that's a championship week. So, again, you are feeling a lot better, but I am very interested to see what they do when Stevenson returns. Because it's easy for all of us to sit here and say, how can you go back? Oh, my goodness, look what he's done. But we know how some of these teams are. So, I would just say be careful of that.
But like you said, next week against the Bengals, I think you can start both.
Yeah, I think you can.
No,
too.
is it the Bengals next week?
The 23rd, yeah. So that's next.
Okay.
Wait, is that already next week?
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, because remember they play Thursday night.
At Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, because I know they have a bye week 14.
Yep, and then they play the Giants. I mean, those are two really good matchups for both of them. But yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, because he's been out. Ramondre Stevenson's now been out for 3 games with this toe injury.
My guess is he'll be back for the next game. Then again, who knows? I mean, all these running backs or players that we think will be back, and they don't go on IR and they miss like 8 weeks. So
I don't know what we're doing with that, with the IR or lack of IR stints this year. It's just really confusing me. But it's a good point, and it's something that again next week that's going to be one of our. We always do the big questions heading into the week. That's going to be one of the biggest. But I think no matter what, like you said, if you've got TreVeyon Henderson, first of all, you're heading into the weekend happy as can be. Second of all, you probably know at least that even if Ramondre does come back for week 12, like you said, it's against Cincinnati, and they are such a bad defense that we can probably pick on him 2 different ways, and that is with TreVeyon Henderson and Ramondre. But we'll keep an eye out. I think at least TreVeyon Henderson has given the coaching staff something to talk about. Because like I said, it was nice to see him between the tackles. That's something that we hadn't seen with him this season. He's looked good, but these past 2 games, and yes, we can talk about the defenses were a lot easier. I get that, but still, he's performing with going up against a tough, like not as tough defense. He's still performing. And so I think that's a big takeaway there. Drake May, anything on there? Completed 25 of 34 passes, 281 yards and a touchdown. And he completed his first 11 passes, didn't throw an interception until 3 minutes remained in the first half. He looked good last night. You heard the MVP chants. Of course, they're going to do that at home. It's their quarterback. But this is a good run that we've seen for the Patriots. I know it was the Jets, 27-14 again. But they've won, what is that now? 8th game in a row that they've won? They're on a tear.
Yeah, look, they've had a fortunate schedule, but they've taken advantage of it, and that's what you need to do. May did not have the best fantasy day, not because it was his fault. I mean, he passed for 281 yards. It just happened to be a game where 2 rushing touchdowns for Henderson and just 1 for May. And May didn't run as much in this game either, just 4 carries for 2 yards. So we have been seeing recently production on the ground from him. It's actually the first game this year that May has not rushed for at least 10 yards. So,
wow.
Yeah. And then I know people are like, oh, the Thursday game, how could I play these guys? I don't think it had anything to do with that. May played very well. And this happens, unfortunately, sometimes. From an NFL perspective, he was excellent. But from a fantasy one, it wasn't one of his better performances. I don't care. I started him. I know I told people to start him because I think people are very worried about Thursday games now. And they overanalyze it. They're like, oh, do I start Drake May on Thursday or go with some like lesser quarterback? It's like, nah, just go with May. And again, it could have been if he has 1 more touchdown, maybe picks up another 10 rushing yards. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But instead, he was outscored by Justin Fields.
That's fine. Oh, Justin. Justin, what are we doing? Hey, listen, I'm with you. I started Drake May somewhere as well because I understand the Thursday night now that we've seen a little bit of a shift, but Drake May was my QB4 to be totally
Yeah.
transparent. So it's just, to me, I don't think there's any way that you can look at someone like May, Herbert, even like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Like, we're not saying, oh, well, it's Thursday. We're not going to start those guys. Let me try and stream Aaron Rodgers. You just got to roll them out there. But yeah, to finish things off though, Stephon Diggs, by the way, if someone started him, hopefully not flex him because you don't want these players in your flex spot on Thursday night games. But 19.5 fantasy points, 9 receptions, 105 scoreless yards. That looked good off 11 targets. He was involved. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a
Good.
surprise. Cardi B just gave birth to a son.
Oh,
So
really? Oh,
we should have seen
already?
it.
What?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, dang. This is why I need to be here yesterday. We could have said a narrative game.
I know.
Dang it. When's Stephon Diggs' birthday?
Let's see.
No,
I
you
don't
can't
know.
look. Don't look. Guess.
Hmm.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, guess.
December 16th.
November 29th.
Oh, it's coming up. Damn.
It's coming up, so we'll have to remember that.
All
That's
right.
awesome. All right. All right. Okay, last one here. We'll finish things off with Justin Fields. What are we doing? Incoming quarterback change. So for fantasy this is the funny part. This is what we always talk about with Justin Fields. We say, listen, it's a very different conversation when we're talking about Justin Fields for fantasy and Justin Fields for real life NFL purposes. For fantasy last night, if you started him, again, it wasn't pretty. You didn't want to watch the whole thing, but he got you 19.34 fantasy points. That's ESPN scoring. 15 to 26, I believe. Only 116 yards, one touchdown. He had 11 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown on the ground. But again, Adam, they might have lost. They might be thinking about a quarterback change, but he is good for us. It was, I should say, good for us this week in fantasy. Not every week, but these spike weeks, we see it all the time.
Because he ran this week. He rushed for
Yep.
67 yards and had the rushing touchdown. So this is the typical Justin Fields, which we just have not seen a lot this year. Had that fumble. Now, it was a bad snap, but he could have just pounced on the ball, and instead he tried to like pick it up. It hit defender's cleat, and then New England recovers, and that was kind of the turning point right there. Even though didn't expect him to win, but that was critical. There were some drops. 80 Mitchell, you can see why the Colts
What are we doing?
were like, yeah, we can trade him.
I tried to defend him too. I was like, never mind. Then that game happened. I said, ugh, never mind.
Yeah, you need more than speed in this game to have success. We did see a John Mechie touchdown, so he got his opportunity. But yeah, with no Garrett Wilson, it's a real problem for this passing game. So look, I've cut Fields in leagues where he was like my second quarterback because we also mentioned the possible in-game benching. It didn't happen here, but it's a possibility going forward. I mean, Aaron Glenn doesn't even name his quarterback going into the week. We all knew it was going to be Fields or expected it to be, but that's a problem. I did start him in a super flex league, but you already know my quarterbacks there are trash. But next week, I don't know if I can go back to him. Well, actually, I don't know
if we'll see him next week. To be
honest.
honest.
You think they're going to go away from him?
I think sooner rather than later, don't you? I just think eventually that we're going to see a quarterback change and that they're going to go to Tyrod Taylor or even, I don't know, their undrafted rookie. That would be crazy, but they've got Brady Cook on their squad.
They probably will make a change. Like, I don't see him playing every game the rest of the year. I would say that.
Either. Yeah, they play, where do they play? They play Baltimore next week at Baltimore, then Atlanta. They've got a nice game against Miami at home. Then for the fantasy playoffs, they're at Jacksonville, at New Orleans, and then they take on New England one more time.
Yeah, that's not a good schedule for the playoffs.
It's awful. Mm-hmm. No. I mean, you can't listen. If you have Justin Fields, though, you can't, unless it's super flex and you're in a really bad spot like Adam. Sorry. We're just going to pick on that team. But there's no reason to look at Justin Fields and say, I need to start him. Because, yes, we get these weeks, like we just said, 11 carries, 67 yards. But we also have the down weeks. I mean, last week, he didn't even, 7 carries, 6 fantasy points. Week 7, it was 4 fantasy points. Week 6, 4 fantasy points. Like, it's just tough to be able to trust him. So you can. And like you said, you mentioned it, but Garrett Wilson yesterday before the game, I think mid-afternoon, went on IR. So if you have Garrett Wilson, just an update there, he's going to be out for a minimum of 4 games. And there's not much. I mean, Adam, this isn't a team where we say, who's the next man up? Where should I look on the depth chart to go and get the next wide receiver 1 for the Jets? Because there just isn't one that's good enough to go pick up. 80 Mitchell, what might have been someone that people looked at, Mason Taylor, but it's just such a bad offense that I don't even think we can recommend anyone.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mechie, he's shown flashes late, but yeah, you don't want to count on
Bad.
anyone. And we're almost through the bye weeks at this
Yep.
point. So, and with Wilson too, I don't think we see him the rest of the year. They're going to be out of it. And what the earliest he can return is week 15. Even
Hmm.
if he came back, are you really going to be like, all right, first week of my fantasy playoffs, I'm going to start Garrett Wilson?
No,
Probably not.
probably not. Probably not. And it was the same knee that he hurt in week 6. So
Hmm.
they've made it clear that they kept Brees Hall, they kept Garrett Wilson for a reason at the trade deadline, even though they did not want to be there necessarily. That they are the future for this team as well. So they want to make sure that he doesn't get injured again. So I'm with you on that one. If you have him, don't necessarily bank on him coming back for week 15. You just have to pay attention, make sure you've got good depth on your bench, and we'll see if Garrett Wilson does return this season. Just one more. I saw an update here that Brock Purdy looks like he's going to get the start this weekend. Finally, where have we been? How long has this man been out? Week 2?
Uh, I feel like he hasn't played since week 4,
I was gonna
something like
say
that.
it's crazy. So if you have Brock Purdy and if you've been holding on to him, I mean, you good to start him this weekend?
I guess you maybe you want to see him a game. You probably are fine at quarterback.
You
Maybe
should be at this point.
yeah, if you've gotten this far, you're probably like, yeah, I'm fine. Maybe you want to see a game from him. I will tell you this: I think I've picked up Purdy and dropped him in a few leagues because, looking at bye weeks over the
Mhm.
last few weeks, I'm like, oh, Purdy's out there. Okay, maybe he'll be back. Let me pick him up, and then he winds up not starting. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll cut him. I do have him in one league with I think Aaron Rodgers is the other quarterback.
So not a super flex.
No, that one's not a
Okay.
super flex. Can't remember why my quarterbacks are bad there. It was
Isn't that
probably
so fun to go back and be like, wow,
it
this
was
this
probably a
sucks.
Fields team where I wound up
And you
cutting
dropped
him.
him? Yeah.
Yeah, is my guess
Well, Aaron Rodgers is actually a good streamer this week, so you're probably
for
going
this
with
week.
him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Purdy's probably if they think he's good to go and he has these weapons, I think you can start him.
This is what I was with Stefania Bell on an unwind. We were talking with everyone a couple nights ago, and we were talking and saying, this is where you don't necessarily trust the coaches, right? When they're telling us updates on the players, but if they tell us that they're going to play and the player also says that they're going to play, it's really difficult to then bench said player. My example that I used was who was it? Brock Bowers a few weeks ago when
Hmm.
he got hurt. They said he's good to go. You say, okay, well, it's Brock Bowers. How can I bench him for Chigakonkwo? And he goes out there and gives you 0 fantasy points. So that's obviously the tough part. But I'm with you. If they tell us, and this coaching staff and the player Brock Purdy tells us that he's good to go and good to play, yeah, if you have him and you don't have better options, you might turn to him. I might wait a week just to see. They play Carolina week 12, and I know Carolina's gotten a little bit better defensively, but that seems a little bit better than at Arizona. At Arizona this weekend. But who knows? I think
Yeah.
you're going to go with Rodgers though.
I think it also depends on who you have. I could see certain scenarios where you do play him this week. I think I'd say he's a borderline
Let me see where
QB1.
I have him. Yeah, definitely borderline. Um,
Yeah, I'd
but
say like 12, 13, 14 in that range.
I've got him
I
at 16.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's right
you're a little
there.
scared.
I'm a little nervous for you. Yeah, they have the easiest strength. We have to remember though, they have the easiest strength of schedule coming into the season, and their schedule the rest of the way is not necessarily difficult. They're at Cleveland week 13, then they have their bye, then they get into the fantasy playoffs. They play Tennessee at home, they go on the road against Indianapolis, and they finish off with the Chicago Bears at home.
And Ricky Pearsall is going to play too.
Oh yeah, Ricky. What about him? You good to go? I know you drafted him in a
I
couple
do. I
spots.
have him
Yeah.
in multiple leagues. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm probably
He makes me nervous. I'll say
yeah. I
that.
might wait a week on him. He's been good though when he's played this year. And again, they made this. It kind of appeared early in the week they were leaning towards playing him. It
Yeah.
sounded good when he made his return to practice. So, and the videos look fine, but
Was it a
they're
faraway, grainy photo? Or did
no
we
like
actually
the
see him? Oh,
fake
okay.
Bucky Irving picture.
You were like, is that him? Is that real? I've got Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, 36 this week.
Oh, okay. So
He's
yeah, so
right
you
there.
have him in
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah, definitely. He's an option for sure. So those are two good updates, at least for the what?
No,
You're thinking.
I
Oh,
have to make a couple
I know. I
decisions.
saw
I mean,
you
the
thinking.
leagues that I have Pearsall in are pretty deep too. Like they're
Because
not.
those were the high stakes leagues, right? I think I remember you drafting him a couple times there.
I don't know. No, I think I know I have
You
him in my
did.
home league, and then I
Okay.
have him in that flex league, that industry flex
Oh,
league as
uh-huh.
well. So,
Got it.
and then I probably have him in one other spot.
Good
And
updates though, nonetheless.
yeah, I think I'm intrigued to see how he does. I think it's also, with Purdy too. I think it's good for Kittle. Kittle's been a
Oh
little
yeah.
up and down, but that's like Purdy's guy. So I think it bodes well for Kittle.
We've got big week 11 questions. I want to break down Trey McBride's fantasy value, what we're looking at now that we don't have Marvin Harrison Jr. in lineups, Justin Jefferson, a potential buy low candidate. We're going to break that down and more here coming up next. What a great song. Vibes are immaculate today, Adam. We haven't said that in a while. Good Friday vibes.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, come on. You know what I did?
What?
Oh my gosh. You're going to freak out and be jealous. I
What did you
did
do?
get tickets to Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh yeah, I'm so jealous. I
I
can't
know
believe
you
it.
are.
When are you
See, I
going?
know that you're pretending that you're not jealous, but I know you are deep down. You're like, "Dang, that would have been so fun." Next Thursday
Okay.
at Crypto Arena.
So you're gonna be good
It'll be
for
so
Friday's
fun.
show?
Well, see, here's the thing. No, I'm kidding. I think so. Well, I'll be tired. Let's just say. So I was looking up I can't even admit this. I was Googling, first of all, the set list because I don't like to be surprised. I want to know what songs are being played. Second, I looked up and Googled what time does Sabrina Carpenter step on stage? Adam, it's like 9 p.m.
Oh my goodness, are you
I'm going to be
serious?
so
9
tired.
p.m.? That
Nine
is
o'clock
so
in the evening.
late.
And then I think it goes till 10:30. Oh, it's okay. We'll worry about that. We'll worry about that next week.
You're just gonna, yeah, look, everyone has
A lot
done
of
it
coffee, a lot
before.
of Folgers.
Everyone has gone with a little sleep and then gone into work the next day, and you just get through it. So,
It's
yeah,
true.
you're
It's
gonna
true.
have to be like the
We need
masses.
we need a full Sabrina Carpenter show though. I think that day. I know that
Uh,
you've already requested that and they haven't, granted it for
yeah,
you,
I'm
but
waiting
I
for the
think
response.
that's what we have to do. Anyways, that's my update here that we can do. But biggest week 11 questions. I wanted to go through some of the bigger questions that I've seen people ask at K Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you have any questions for us, make sure you send them in. I've seen a couple come in so far, Adam, and we'll make sure to get to as many of those as we can. But this is just kind of easy. If you have Trey McBride, you know that you are playing Trey McBride every single chance that you get. But I did want to ask you about Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think we were on the show when we got that news, but feels like, he's going to be out this week. Potentially, it sounds also like he's going to be out next week as well. So if you have Marvin Harrison Jr., just make sure you have a backup plan for week 12. But McBride has averaged 19.7 fantasy points over 4 games without Kyler Murray. And he has just looked really good while doing it. So I just want to say Trey McBride to the moon. I mean, how much has his fantasy value just skyrocketed over the last couple days? It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been going up ever since Kyler Murray went to the bench
Yep.
and got injured. So we saw one touchdown with Kyler Murray in 5 games for McBride. And then with Brissett, it's been 4 games, and he has 5 touchdowns. He has at least 9 targets in each of Brissett's starts. He has 46 targets in the 4 games.
Nice.
And you take Harrison away as well. So, yeah, McBride is just giving you exactly what you had hoped for. Because at the beginning of the year, look, you were still getting excellent production. It was similar to last year where you were getting receptions, yards, but no touchdowns, and which was fine for fantasy. But now the ceiling is even higher at that. He is finding the end zone every single week. So, yeah, you're loving it if you have McBride right now.
I saw this stat from The Athletic that he not only leads all pass catchers in red zone and end zone targets, despite Arizona having a bye. So that's 13 in the red zone, 10 in the end zone. But they also they rank first in pass rate over expected with Brissett, and they have a top 5 tight end schedule the rest of the season. No one's trading McBride to you, but this would be the epitome of if you really want to go on a run here, Trey McBride would be that guy. Again, no one's going to trade him at this point because his value is so high. But we don't like like injuries, but you are happy with the expectations that he has this weekend because he's gonna go off. Any other players that you recommend? I wrote up Michael Wilson the other day as just a potential flex guy. Dortch as well. I think Matthew Berry has Dortch ranked ahead of Michael Wilson this weekend just by one spot. But those are probably the two other guys where if you're in a really tough spot, Adam, that maybe you could go and flex them. Just I think you have to lower expectations. It's really going to be the Trey McBride show, but one of them could pop off.
Yeah, I've seen people in the deeper formats pick up Michael Wilson this week. I definitely had some bids on him, but they were lower because it wasn't a huge need. So obviously there's always teams out there that need a player like that more, especially if you have a Harrison. So yeah, I think those guys you can consider.
Okay, RJ Harvey taking over the backfield. They have not officially placed J.K. Dobbins on IR. So I know that they said earlier in the week that they're thinking about it. That just leads us to believe, though, that we're not going to see him week 11. They haven't ruled him out yet necessarily. So we're just going to do this segment like he is going to be ruled out this weekend. If you have J.K. Dobbins, you already know that you should have gone and picked someone else up just in case. But will RJ Harvey actually take over this backfield? Because a lot of me wants to say yes, Adam. Like, yes, it's going to be RJ Harvey's show. In the back of my mind, though, would I be shocked if we saw a little bit of Tyler Beatty, Jaleel McLaughlin? Like, I would not be surprised if we still saw those guys get involved in this offense and it not be as big of a week for RJ Harvey as maybe other people think. That's what's making me nervous.
Yeah, I think if you have him, you're playing him. But to think that he's going to get 20 touches, it's just not going to happen. He's shown the explosive playability and the limited opportunities that he's had. He's been finding the end zone recently. Dobbins is definitely not playing. I mean, you can tell by the way Sean Payton was speaking. He was saying, Harvey's going to get a lot more opportunities if Dobbins is out. And as you alluded to, the question is he going to be placed on IR? How much time is he going to miss? But I do think we'll see some of the other running backs involved. But Harvey has an opportunity here. It is a tough matchup against Kansas City, but he is the type of player where he just gets the ball in the passing game and can break a 40, 50-yard play and find the end zone. So I think it is an interesting test for him, but he will get double-digit touches in this game. But I don't think all the touches in the backfield are him. I don't think we're going to see that. We've seen that with Sean Payton and the way he rolls. He's going to use multiple backs. But I think, look, if you have Harvey for the most part, you're playing him though, right? I mean, I don't see how you can't.
I'm flexing him this weekend just because I need to, just because Alec Pierce is on a bye. That's the guy that I always put in the flex. But I have him, and I might change this today. I'm gonna go back through my rankings. I've got him as RB 23.
I think he needs to be higher.
I think he does too. I think I'll put him closer to 17, 18 once I get through it. Because so Dwayne has him at 15, Ian Hartitz has him at 18, and Waz and Friedman actually have him at 24.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna look through it, but he's definitely, like you said, there's a reason why you have RJ Harvey. He hasn't necessarily been great throughout the whole season, but when an injury like this happens, you have to look at the situation and say, all right, well, this is kind of what you wait for. In these situations, you do play him. And I think, like you said, I think he's gonna be favored to end up with maybe a 50% snap share, 12 to 15 opportunities per game that we don't see J.K. Dobbins in there. But if there was ever a chance, or if we ever saw him get up to like 65%, Adam, that would make, then he would be into RB1, mid-range RB1 territory, and we'd say, yeah, every single week we know what he's going to give you. But I think right now he's mine, obviously mid-range RB2, but I think I'm going to move him into high end.
Yeah, now I could see situations where people have maybe in the more shallow formats, or they got depth at running back, that maybe he's their fourth running back. Maybe they have three better this week. So I shouldn't say, yeah, he's a must start, but I do think in a lot of situations, you've kind of been waiting around to get him in there. But again, it is a tough matchup here against Kansas City, and I don't think Denver's offense does much this week against this Chiefs defense with Bo Nix at quarterback.
Oh, that's going to be such a good game. We've got good games this weekend.
Yeah, let's hope they play out. But no, it does. On paper, it does look really good. There's some really good matchups that you want to watch.
I think the Seahawks game, and I'm not being biased, but I think that's the best game. I think that's the best game this weekend.
No, it is, because a lot of people feel that these are two teams that could be number one in the NFC or even in the NFL. I think a lot of people feel that way about the Rams. Seattle's in that discussion for sure. So that's going to determine a lot on where these teams are. And then, of course, Lions, Eagles,
Yeah,
Sunday night as well. Chiefs, Broncos. Because, again, for the Chiefs,
they need to win this
I
game.
I can't see the Chiefs falling to 5-5. I just can't. Like, the NFL wants them in the playoffs, needs them in the playoffs. You can't have a postseason without Patrick Mahomes, can you? Is that possible?
No, what are you? No, of course
Yeah.
not. You have to have him in there, just like Aaron Judge has to win MVP. Oh, you see what
Don't
I
be
did
bitter
there?
about that.
I'm really sad about that. It's kind of it's
That was
the
the
same
one
thing.
thing you needed to complete your season, right? After the way Seattle
Oh yeah,
lost.
no. When I called my dad last
Yeah.
night, I was like, you know what? This is exactly how it was supposed. How it was going to end is that they can't make it to the World Series and then this happens. This is cherry on top. But
At least
no,
you have
I
the
think
Seahawks.
yeah, that's true. I've fully mourned the Seattle Mariners for 2025, and now I can turn my attention to the Seahawks this weekend. Like you said, a great game, but I can't see the Chiefs, like you said, falling. But you never know. I mean, Denver's gutted out these games, and I know that it's people look at it. We've talked about it, been not necessarily fluky, but it's those fourth quarter comebacks. Everything else, Bo Nix hasn't been amazing so far this season, but it'll be a great game nonetheless. So we'll see what happens there. I want to go through some more rankings, though. You can find it all at fantasylife.com. You can find my rankings 100% free over there. But I want to talk about, some places that you can take advantage of, let's say the Cincinnati Bengals going up against some of these tight ends. What our expectations could be with Luther Burden this weekend. We're going to go through that and more here coming up next. All right, guys, I wanted to talk to you about Huel, and we've talked about this before, but if you are ever in the market for a drink that is just really good for you and you do not have to worry about the extra added sugar if you're going to be hungry again in the next 20 minutes, you need to get to Huel. Their Be Ready to Drink shakes, which I have right here. My favorite right now, chocolate peanut butter, which I know Adam wants as well. 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no added sugar, gluten-free, and they're all $5 per meal. So again, chocolate peanut butter is my favorite. Let me know if you check that one out. If you're like Adam, maybe playing softball in the middle of the week, like me, going to a concert next weekend, you don't want to have to worry about cooking dinner. They also have daily greens. And again, I've said it before, but my favorite is the peach hibiscus. It was designed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and only 1 gram of sugar. I know you all listening are getting into the busy season, so do not skip meals. Go and look at Huel. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code FANTASYLIFE at www.huel.com/fantasylife. Again, use my code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. Oh yeah, look at us, Adam. So Adam is going, just to give everyone a piece of Adam's life that I'm telling without asking his permission. Ani's going to Adam's going to Ani's birthday party Saturday. It's karaoke, and I think we should put it to a vote if Adam should sing some Sabrina Carpenter songs. Or maybe, some other pop artist that you love, like Chappell Roan. I think that we should put it to a vote.
No, we don't
I
need
vote
to.
yes.
Yeah, well, of
What?
course
Come
you do.
on.
Of course
I
you
bet
do.
you love karaoke.
If you show up, then I'll do it.
Stop. Don't do this. Come on.
I think
Ani's
that's a
gonna
fair
be there.
deal.
What if Ani said, "This is my birthday," because we love producer Ani. What if he said, "This is my big birthday," and what if he asked you no gifts, right? He just wants you to sing one song, half a song. Would you do it?
I'm kind of losing my voice right now.
Gosh. All right. Well, I'll put it to a vote for the people, and we'll
Yeah, I
see what
think
they
we
want.
know how that's gonna go.
All right, rankings, risers, and fallers. That's what we are going to next here. And again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there, or you can, just message Adam, say, get some song requests in for him with this karaoke place that he's going to on Saturday. Whatever you need to do. Can we talk about streaming tight ends this weekend and how maybe you can just look at every single tight end for the Steelers? I feel like that's in play, Adam, because they're playing the Bengals, and we've talked about the Bengals before. I looked up some of these stats, though. It's really bad. Like, it's good for us in fantasy, and we can laugh about it, but when you look deep down, Cincinnati has allowed 12 touchdowns to opposing tight ends through 9 games this year. And at their current pace, per The Athletic, Cincinnati is projected to give up 115 receptions, 1,364 receiving yards, and 23 touchdowns to tight ends this season. That's insane. Are we firing up every single Steelers tight end this weekend, though? More specifically, we've seen Pat Freiermuth in this game before. He's the one that went off when they played them earlier in the season. But what do you think about him and Johnny Smith in this one?
Yeah, look, 12 touchdowns allowed to tight ends, so clearly we're picking on them. The only problem is they use 3 tight ends in Pittsburgh, and they're all like splitting.
Mhm.
So it's tough. I mean, Fryermuth, I would probably put the highest. He had the big game against them in Week 7, 5 catches, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jono had 3 for 28 and a touchdown that week. And even Darnell Washington had
Yeah.
a touchdown. Didn't do much, 3 receptions, 2 yards, and a touchdown. So I did pick up Fryermuth in leagues where I had Gadsden because I was a little worried about Gadsden's status, but it sounds like he's going to play. He
Yeah.
was practicing. MRI was clean. Seems like just a bruise. So the tight ends on bye with Jawan Johnson and Tyler Warren. So maybe you do need to go out there and pick one up for Warren. So it would probably be Fryermuth for me, but the problem is they just split 3 ways. But I'm sure one of them is going to score because we saw DK Metcalf in this game did not produce
Yeah.
because DJ Turner will likely be on him. He shadowed him, and we've seen him do a good job, and that's why Metcalf was limited in that first matchup. And you know they're going to move the ball and put up points. So I'm pretty sure one of these tight ends is going to score, if
We just have
not
to pick
both.
we just have to
Yeah,
pick the
trying
right
to pick the
one.
right one. I mean,
It's definitely between more Fryermuth though and Jonnu Smith
yes,
than
those would
anything
be the
else.
two.
I've
Yeah.
got Fryermuth ahead in this one just because we never know what's going to happen, but just because I look back at the Week 7 game that they played, five receptions for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns off 6 targets. So that was a good day for him. But yeah, I've got Fryermuth ahead, and like you said, I mean DJ Turner, for everything else, for how bad this Cincinnati Bengals defense is, he's at least the spotlight here. He deserves the spotlight at least because he leads the league in passes defended at 14. He's got the 4th highest PFF coverage grade among all corners. He's been doing really well this season. So that means a little bit of a downgrade here for DK Metcalf, like you said. But I think both those guys are in play when you're looking for tight ends. I am a Tyler Warren manager, and I had to go and pick up someone got and had already Pat Fryermuth on their bench. So I had to go with Jono.
Yeah, I did notice that at one of my leagues too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was
where is
shocked.
Fryermuth? I'm like, wow, he's rostered. How? Like, what
I
is
know.
going on?
I
Like,
don't know what
you wouldn't
the
think he
people
would
get
be on
him.
a roster.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, but here we are, saying he definitely is on a roster because I tried to pick him up and I couldn't.
It's
So
got to be a dead team that like drafted
it's
him earlier or something.
not.
No, okay.
Not mine. It's crazy. I said, really? Pat Fryermuth? That's who you're hanging on to? But whatever. It works out this weekend for him. I'm just obviously jealous. So that's what we have to look at here. Going on. So I noticed DJ Moore was practicing yesterday. So this makes this question a little bit different because I was going to bring up Luther Burden and a potential flex play, what a surge could look like in the coming weeks for him. But I think I have to bring down expectations if DJ Moore is good to go because he was banged up in Week 10 last week and it's still kind of up in the air, right? No, we don't know what could happen, but him practicing yesterday was good news for him. I will just say this though, Olamide Zaccheaus he was dropping passes. He did not look good last week. So I'm at least sitting here thinking that Luther Burden is at least going to jump him in the depth chart. I was going to go as far to say maybe he was going to have a bigger role with DJ Moore out this weekend, but again, it looks like he was practicing. But I still think Luther Burden, if for whatever reason you're in one of those leagues and he's still out there on the waiver wire, I think you should pick him up.
Yes, I've picked him up in multiple leagues over the last 5 weeks, waiting for his role to grow. It really hasn't happened yet. He was up to 49% of the snaps last week. That was a season high. Zaccheaus was down to 57%. So, yeah, if Moore were to miss this game, Moore seems to always get banged up and find a way to play. And in games as well, get injured and find a way to come back. So we're hoping that Burden overtakes at least Zaccheaus for that role, but
Which he should.
he should. But we've been saying that for a
Well,
while now, and it kind of
that's
hasn't
fair.
happened. And every time we get a glimpse of Burden and he makes a play, he does look good. So he's one of those guys I'm just holding on to. And as we've said numerous times with rookies, sometimes you have to exercise extreme patience. As we've seen with Travion Henderson, it's taken until like week 9 for him to be
But
productive.
now
And
look at us.
yeah, exactly. So, you might have been 2-7, but hey, you got those production. Now, everyone
You
says
scored
that, but it's
fantasy
like,
points.
no, I've seen people say that, oh, yeah, congrats to the team. Those are the teams that are bitter that don't have Henderson. But I have teams that are good with Henderson.
I do too.
It doesn't mean that
It's
your
because
team was bad.
we took an egregious amount though. That's why we were
I didn't,
drafting him
I
a
don't
lot.
have as much. I think I have him in
Well, I
3
do.
leagues.
That's a
Um,
lot though.
is it? I don't know. So
No.
I don't think it's a lot. And those teams are all basically hovering around 500
Mhm.
and still alive for the playoffs. So, I mean, there probably are scenarios where you drafted Henderson in round 4 as your RB2 and maybe your RB1 hasn't been as good and maybe the team is bad. But with Burden, I do think he is someone you want to have on your roster. I was actually surprised because, again, my home league's pretty deep. He was available this week. I picked him up. I'm not starting him. I'm good for now, but I just want to have him on the bench
Yeah.
in case the role grows, or worst case scenario, keep him off someone else's team that could pick him up and use him against me in the postseason.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I saw him available last week in one of my deeper leagues, and I was like, "Wow, okay, I'm going to pick him up." Not the easy. Let me just say, not an easy fantasy playoff schedule. We'll say that they're at home against Cleveland, at home against Green Bay, and then finish off with San Francisco. But if you can get a little bit of production from week 11 to week 15, like we said, to help secure your spot in the fantasy playoffs, that's going to be huge. So someone to look at for sure. Defensive streamers for week 11. Want to go through that and more rankings, risers, and fallers for this weekend. We're going to break it down here coming up next. This sounds fun. What's this song that you requested, Adam?
That's you.
I don't know this one. This is a good one, though. Good
Is it?
vibes.
Okay.
Yeah. Immaculate
I
vibes on
thought
a
this was
Friday.
something you knew.
Oh, dang it. Ani says he can't tell us either. Dang, that's a good song. It sounds nice though. Kendall Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Friday. I see questions coming in on X. Make sure you keep sending them in here because we're about to go to that water cooler. So we're going to go through the news and notes you need to know and continue going through not only your messages over here on X, but also your phone calls. So make sure you're calling us in. I've got a question for you. Derrick Henry, what are we looking at with Derrick Henry this weekend going up against the Cleveland Browns? I've got him currently RB 14 right now in the rankings. FantasyLife.com is where you can go and see that. He has scored 18 plus fantasy points in only 2 games all season. And that is not the Derrick Henry we know and love. He's averaged only 12.8 points this season. I'm looking at the utilization score. It's sitting at a 64 for the year. And he faces this weekend the second best run defense that he's going to see. So again, that might be a little bit too, I might be a little bit too high on him this weekend. But RB14, what are your expectations?
Yeah, it has been a disappointing year for him. I know Lamar Jackson has missed time, but he doesn't look the same. I think finally we're starting to see him slow down just a little bit. And like you said, it's a tough matchup here. Henry was not good the first time he faced the Browns, too. I'm trying to remember, did Lamar play that game?
Well, it was
Week 2. He had 11
yeah,
carries for 23 yards. Yeah, I think Lamar did play that game, right?
I think so. Because
Yeah.
I don't think he was done until later.
So yeah, he did play that
Yeah,
game.
he
That's
did.
4 passing
Because
touchdowns for Lamar that game.
he was out week 5, starting week 5. It looks like.
Yeah,
Man, it feels like he's been out longer than that. But
yeah, I think he got hurt in the Chiefs game, right? Yeah, that's where the
14
injury
to
occurred. It was
20.
late in
Yep.
the game. Mhm.
Yeah, he only had 10.6 fantasy points in that one.
Yeah, I think in most scenarios, if you have Henry, you're probably playing him, but I don't think you better hope that he finds the end zone because I don't see like a huge game yardage wise.
No, the Browns have held opposing running backs to 5.8 points below their average. So maybe this is the week, though, Adam, where we're saying he's a fantasy faller. That maybe he just looks at that and says, "You know what? I'm not. Here I am. Here's where I'm going to go." You think he's hit the age cliff, though?
I think it's
I
getting there. Yeah,
I did too. It's unfortunate.
it was
But
gonna happen.
eventually it was, but maybe we can see a little bit of a shift the rest of the way here because I still think, they play Cleveland this weekend and then they have a really nice 2 game stretch. They play the Jets week 12, they play Cincinnati week 13. And they haven't played Cincinnati yet, so they play Cincinnati twice, and so they start the fantasy playoffs against Cincinnati and then they play New England and Green Bay. So a little bit of a mixed bag, but you like Cincy week 15.
And then the encouraging thing is they've started to give him 20 carries again. He has at least 20 carries in 3 of his last 4. And part of that was the game script. He wasn't getting the ball early when they were falling behind. So with that favorable schedule, it does bode well. And we tend to see Henry late November, December get going. So maybe he has a strong finish in him.
That's why I think if Baltimore's defense is out there, I saw they were only 54% rostered. You
Oh,
might
I
be
picked
looking
him
to
up.
pick them up.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. They have a nice
It's a good
schedule
call. I
too
got him
coming up.
last week. Exactly. I mean, at Cleveland again, New York Jets to be specific, and then Cincinnati. Like that's a really nice 3 game stretch. If they're out there and you're looking for streamers, like that's one you can pick up and hold on to for the next 3 weeks at least.
the Falcons as well. They have a nice schedule. The
do they?
Panthers, Saints,
Oh,
Jets,
nice.
the next 3 weeks.
The Panthers. So I keep getting asked if I took the Panthers, even this late in the week. I said yes. I
Did
took
you?
the
I
Panthers.
forgot. You took them?
Stop. Get out of here.
Survivor last
Are you,
week?
Adam,
Really?
Are you crazy? Yes.
I am.
You are. You're just saying this to rage. It's rage bait, so I can break down again.
I mean, I
Well,
lost too. I took Buffalo, so
I know.
I
Yeah,
don't
yours
feel any
was
better.
worse, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Yours was worse. All right, Falcons and the Baltimore Ravens, defenses that you can go and pick up to stream for the next couple of weeks here. They've got a nice schedule for at least 2 and 3. We're going to continue on. We've got the Fantasy Life Water Cooler news and notes that you need to know. And of course, putting out the phone number here. We'll open it up 888-963-2682 or press the new calling button on the Sirius XM app. Find us at Valenzuela17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. Water cooler and news to know coming up here next. It is about that time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler. We're going through all the news and notes you need to know before setting those lineups for Week 11. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here on Fantasy Life, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. We've got the phone lines open for you guys too, 888-963-2682, or you can press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. We're over there on X as well. I see a few questions coming in at Valenzuela17 at Adam Ronis over there. If you can't get through, don't have time to call us yet, that's fine. You can send us a message over there. And as always, fantasylife.com. That's the direction I'm always going to point you in because we've got our articles 100% free. We've got the newsletter 100% free in your inbox 7 days a week as well. So you can go over there, sign up for all that. And while you're doing it, if you want the code SXM20, use that at checkout, and that gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 Fantasy Life Plus subscription. So if you've been thinking about it for a while, now's the time to do it. SXM20 gets you 20% off, so you can go and check that out. We've got all of our shows also on our YouTube channel, Adam, so people can see Adam in Halloween costumes. Well, it was one time, but you can go back and watch it. And so make sure you guys go subscribe, like that channel, all that good stuff. We're ready to go, Adam. Let's hit the, let me just hit the news that we talked off the top, just in case people weren't here with us in the first hour. Just here to say that Garrett Wilson, you didn't see him last night. He was placed on IR, so that means he's going to now miss a minimum of 3 games coming up. We would be a little bit cautious on if we even see him the rest of the way, just like Adam said earlier in the show. They're probably going to continue losing, and so there might not be much for him to come back to. So if you have Garrett Wilson, obviously you were without him last night, you can go ahead and hopefully have better options going forward here. The other one, Adam, and we can start here, was that we talked about Brock Purdy being back, and it looks like he is going to play this weekend. Also, Ricky Pearsall back. If you had to pick between the two, so the interesting one to me is Brock Purdy, because if you've gone this far, we're already in week 11. If you've gone this far, you obviously have been either streaming quarterbacks or you picked someone up early enough that you've just been able to use. But where would you have him? Or where do you have him rest of the season rankings if he's good to go?
I still don't have him as a QB1 rest of the season. I think you need to see him back on the field first and healthy. So he's lower in those rankings for rest of the season. And again, you've gotten to this point where you're probably settled at quarterback.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. And it's not like he's Joe Burrow where you'd automatically put him back in. There's some question as to, the health. Could this flare up again? Now, he does have his weapons. Jawan Jennings has been out there, and you got Kittle back. You're getting Pearsall back. You have McCaffrey out of the backfield. So, and we've seen him. He's been a good fantasy quarterback. But I think you still would like to see him produce first before you rush him back into your lineups or think he's an every week start going forward.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Again, my QB 16 for the week, and I might change it today. You can find those at fantasylife.com. I will say for Ricky Pearsall, again, because you've been without him for a long time, I'm going to move him, but right now I have him wide receiver 35 in my rankings. And I don't know, I might keep him around. He's not going to crack, the top 25, top 30, I think. I think he's going to stay right in the 30 to 35 range. So you might have better options there as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, too, what the target distribution is, because usually with Jennings, we've seen him with the team shorthanded. How is it going to be now with Jennings out there, Kittle out there, McCaffrey? Like, what type of target percentage does he get as well? Because, the other times we've seen him, he's benefited from players being out, and it's kind of elevated him. And that was one of the appeals in draft season, right? There was a large portion of the draft season we didn't know what the status was for Jennings. We knew Ayuk was out, so we looked at it and said, "Wow, they're short depth at receiver. Pearsall comes in and is going to step into a big role," and that's what we saw early on, which is why he put up some pretty good numbers. He had 2 100-yard games in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's not the case anymore because now there's competition. And it probably will change, though, and they might be a little bit more aggressive with Purdy at quarterback, too.
That's true. As a Juwan Jennings manager, I'm a little bit worried because the last 2 games, I mean, it's not been great the whole season, and that's pretty much a loss based on where you drafted him because it's just he's given you less than 8 fantasy points really in all these games except 3. But the last 2 weeks, he got 14.1 against the Giants, excuse me, and then you have 17.1 last week against the Rams. So I'm looking, and he's improved his utilization score by 9 points, and that's over the last 4 games actually, and over that 4-game span, he's got 11.7 fantasy points per game. Historically, because I looked at this from Dwayne McFarland, these historical comps usually average 13.6 points per game, 65% of them finishing as a wide receiver 30 or better. But Ricky Pearsall could put a wrench in those plans. But over the last 2 weeks, you've been happy with the production you've got from Juwan Jennings, and this might short it out just a little bit, because even the targets, 5 targets against the Giants, caught 4 of them, and then 9 last week again against the Rams for 6 receptions in that one. So you have to look at that as well.
Yeah, since week 7, 23.1% target share. And
nice.
It hasn't been great, though, for fantasy. We've been talking about it, and we said, hey, the usage is there. He's going to have a good game at some point, and he finally has and scored a little bit. But, yeah, it could change with Pearsall, depending on if he's limited or not. But, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on how they distribute the ball with Purdy back and Pearsall good to go.
Yeah, I've moved Juwan Jennings. I'm going to have him wide receiver 29. So those two are going to be really close. Just because like you said, I want to see it, what the distribution looks like, everything else. I want to see it. And I want to see Ricky Pearsall up to speed as well. He hasn't played in a really long time. So we'll see how that looks going into it. But again, you're going to get Ricky Pearsall back this weekend. You're going to get Brock Purdy back. Lamar Jackson, everyone sigh of relief at him because Lamar Jackson was practicing in full yesterday. So that was good news as well. The one that I saw a couple pop up on the injury reports. The late one was Xavier Worthy with the ankle injury. Are you worried about that at all? That was yesterday's practice report that he popped up with the ankle injury.
I'm more worried about if he's going to produce in this offense with Rashee Rice back.
Man, it's been not good.
It has not. And I only have him in one league. It's an important league, though. It's like my best team. So I'm trying to figure out if I should play him or not. Do have some bye week issues, so he might have to be in there, but it hasn't been good since Rice returned. And I know it's only 3 games, but the target share is down, the receiving yards are down. Some of the game scripts have been part of that. But yeah, I generally don't like him this week against Denver. Even with Patrick Surtain out, it's just been a lot of Rice in this offense, and this could be a low-scoring game, too. Even without Surtain, the defense is still very good. So this isn't a good spot for Worthy. And then you add in that he's dealing with this ankle issue. It's not good.
Now, you hoped that it would be better. I mean, you knew that things weren't going to be the same once we did get once we did get him back, Rashee Rice. But these last 3 games, like you said, because we've got 3 games with Rashee Rice back, Worthy has averaged 8 fantasy points and a 51 utilization score. He's a downgrade. He's a wide receiver 4 for me. He's not cracking the top 35 because I just don't think you can do it. And again, now he's got the ankle injury. We'll see if that limits him, or we'll see really what the practice report looks like today. But that's the one thing we have to watch out for. And we got good news though. Oronde Gadsden, he was back fully practicing yesterday. So if you do have him, he's on the right side of that questionable tag. We should see him this weekend. DJ Moore, again, was limited in practice yesterday, so we might be able to see him. And then the 2 others that I wanted to hit here was that we get Jameis Winston, but we might not get Darius Slayton. What are we doing with the hamstring injury? He didn't practice yesterday, which makes me sad because I have him in GST. Whenever I'm ready to fully give him my trust and put him out there, he says, you know what? I actually have a hamstring injury. I can't go.
Yeah,
we don't have that news yet, though.
It's been frustrating for him because he's been so close to having these big games, whether it's a drop, a penalty, taking away a touchdown against Philadelphia. And then you're like, oh, here we go, Winston. We know he's going to take these shots deep and give Slayton an opportunity to make plays. And now we're not sure if he's going to play. So he had this hamstring during the game last week, left. He did come back, but if you're not practicing the first 2 days of the week and you've had a hamstring issue, it does not bode
good.
well for your chances of suiting up on Sunday. So we should get Giants practice reports shortly, I would think. And if he's out and not practicing, then likely out for this week. And that's just poor timing.
On a Jameis Winston weekend, no less. What do we, Wan'Dale Robinson to the moon then? And Theo Johnson. I think Theo Johnson, this is more for shallow leagues, because I think everywhere I've looked, Theo Johnson has been definitely rostered. But him over the last couple of weeks, he's been producing. And so I think this week, if you are able to get Theo Johnson, he could be one that puts up good fantasy points if you need a tight end. He's been good.
Yeah, I think this situation, again, it's a tough matchup, though. This Green Bay defense is good, but we know that Winston's going to drop back, and he doesn't care. He's going to take chances.
YOLO Jameis is back and ready to go. Someone asked us the other day when I was out. They said, how good is Jameis? And it was just like one of those questions where you're like, well, he's not necessarily good for real life. Like, he's gonna make you have it. We have a sound that we play. You say he's gonna make mistakes, but at least it'll be fun, and we should get fantasy points from it. So that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, I'm starting him in that Superflex league this week. There we go. I'm like, oh, Winston's out.
How much money did you have to spend on Jameis Winston?
$4.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
I did lose out on Burrow, though. I didn't have enough. Dang. Someone outbid me, so.
How much did he go for?
Actually, I think it was like 26.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I had $19 left, so I
So this
19.
was a $100 fab.
Yeah, $100.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. So yeah, people kept their money. That's what sometimes you have to do.
I think too, the tricky part with Burrow, like if you're 3-7, 4-6, you can't bid on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can, but it doesn't make sense because you need immediate production. So if you had a good record, then yeah, you can. But I was surprised some of the bids for Burrow were not as high as I expected.
I mean, you need to have a really, I think it was Dwayne we were talking with on Tuesday. Dwayne said he had a super team, but his biggest flaw in the roster, his biggest hole was at quarterback. So he said he was spending all his money to get Joe Burrow, because then if Burrow is able to go, again, he's eyeing Thanksgiving, I think was the return date there. I think it could be the week after. I don't know.
But it was also dependent on their record. So if they go
out, he's going to go out there even if they're losing.
I mean, if they lose the next 2 games, there's a chance that he doesn't. I mean, if they're 3-8, I don't know if we see him.
There's a part of me that believes that if he wants to go out there, they're going to let him, because then that would be a whole season lost where he's not playing until real games until obviously week 1 2026. That'd be a long time.
Yeah, I do think that the record will be a factor.
And they don't want to get him hurt. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
You can't put him out there when you're losing games and you have no chance. I mean, they do have a chance though. Like you said, these next 2 weeks are going to be pivotal.
They pretty much need to win this week to have a chance. Yeah. If they lose this week and they fall to 3-7, I know they beat Pittsburgh the first time. So that's why if they can win this week, then yeah, they're still alive. But realistically, we know they're not going to do it with that defense. They just can't stop anyone.
It's not great. Let's just say
that. The offense has not been a problem with Burrow out.
Definitely
with Flacco at quarterback, at least.
Crazy in the year 2025 that we're saying that the Bengals look really good with Joe Flacco as their quarterback on on this team. That's just nuts to me. We're going to go out to the phone lines now. Again, the phone number to call in, 888-963-2682, or press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. We're going to go out to Bob in Illinois. Bob, what do you got for us?
I got a start-sit question between RJ Harvey and Chase Brown as my RB2.
Okay, RJ Harvey and Chase Brown. I've got Chase Brown, actually. Chase Brown is ahead for me this week, Adam. I don't know about you. I know that we like RJ Harvey, but he's back in my rankings. Chase Brown is my RB13 this week.
Yeah, I'm going Chase Brown. You're assured more volume. It looks like Samaje Perine will be out, and we've seen Chase Brown more involved in the offense, more involved in the passing game as well. So I know the Steelers' defense has played a little bit better. We saw only 11 carries in the first matchup for Brown, but he had 9.8 yards per carry in that
Yeah.
matchup. So, yeah, I'm not worried about that. And Chase Brown is going to rack up the catches. So, yeah, Chase Brown over Harvey.
I'm jealous. And Bob said that was his RB2. Come on. I have to like some of my running back. Well, some of your running backs too. We're in a bad spot. But yeah, I like Chase Brown this week again. You can find our rankings at fantasylife.com, but it's like for him, the RB1 production with the snap rate that he has, it's always 90% plus. You know that he's going to get it. So I really like that. Chase Brown in that one. Let's continue on here. I see some tweets at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. I see one here from Mark, and these are a lot. These are actually all. Oh, wow. These are all RJ Harvey questions. So RJ Harvey or Woody Marks from Mark here to start this weekend.
Yeah, Woody Marks is tough because we saw last week a season high in snap percentage. He started the game going up against Tennessee. This one is close.
It is close. I've got Harvey.
Yeah, I'd give a slight lean to Harvey.
But and again, I think I'm going to change Harvey closer to RB20 than I have him right now at 23, but I've got Marks at 22. So that's how close it is.
Look, I am going to start Marks in a few leagues this week, and I'm just hoping that the trend continues, that he gets the ball more than Nick Chubb, and they finally see, okay, he has more ability to make big plays. So let's give him the ball. Because, again, we went through this several weeks ago, but I do think now it looks like he's taking over the backfield. Because, again, it was more than 80% of the snaps. It was 16 touches. Yeah. And, again, a good matchup here against Tennessee. So I do feel much better about Marks this week. And I think they're starting to finally realize, I think there was a comment from Ryan's about the rookies, how they're not rookies more, and they need to start utilizing them, meaning Jaden Higgins and guys like that. We do need to see Higgins more. I started to see him because he's been picked up, dropped, and he was picked up in more leagues this week.
Yeah, I've kept him because I think he has the chance to. I think he has a chance to jump up the depth chart a little bit. But with Woody Marks, yeah, this is because what if we've been burned? We've always been burned, but with this backfield, we've been burned before with Woody Marks and asking ourselves, okay, is he finally the lead back for the Houston Texans? The only other thing I worry about here with this game is that we saw the increased role, but last weekend, I mean, Houston was trailing. It was early, 17-0 early. So in the passing situations,
but he started the game though.
He did start the game. But do you worry at all about this game script this weekend? Because I think they're touchdown favorites in this one. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. But still, I say I'm worried about it, and I still say he's really high in my rankings.
Yeah,
he's not as high as Harvey.
And again, over 80% of the snaps. Like, I could have seen that being the case if they were closer, but it seemed like they were heavy Woody Marks throughout the game. I mean, Nick Chubb had 5 carries. I know he was on the injury report last week, but he was practicing, I believe, last Friday in full. So I don't think it was injury related.
And the Titans defense, they allow the second most fantasy points to running back. So he has the upside of an RB1 this weekend. So it'll be interesting. That one's really close. I've got another one here. Full point PPR. Do I start RJ Harvey or Aaron Jones this week? Love the show. Oh, thank you. That's from Vincent. What do you think? I've also got Harvey ahead of him.
I think I would go Jones.
We'd go Jones?
Yeah.
Who do I have Jones this weekend? Oh, I lied. Switch it. I've got Aaron Jones ahead. RB19 this weekend.
I mean, that is a guy
that got a questionable tag on him. Is he good?
Yeah, I think he's
okay.
Fine.
Who's
we saw him basically take over the backfield 2 weeks now in a row. They just gone in the direction of him, and Jordan Mason has become a handcuff.
My Jordan Mason shares are screaming at him. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what we
not
can
good.
do.
It is
I don't
not
know what we
good.
can do anymore. It's fine though. All right, Jones on that one. If you guys have more questions, make sure to send them in at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. All the rankings that I'm talking about, you can go check them out. Mine are 100% free. Same with Waz. So you can go at fantasylife.com, check all of those out as well. We're going to continue on. Definitely continue asking and going through some of your questions, but I want to go through players to buy potentially before the trade deadline. I know some trade deadlines are this weekend, Adam, and some are next weekend, but this is a good conversation that if you are a potential winner, you want to maybe go and get these guys to solidify that championship. We're going to break down those names here coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Kendall Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Friday. Immaculate vibes as always. It looks like we've got a little bit of news here, and that is that Sean McDermott did say that Dalton Kincaid, their tight end, is going to be out this weekend going up against Tampa Bay. Also saw a quote that Khalil Shakir is, quote, heading in the right direction, should be in a good spot for the game as well. There we go, Adam. No Dalton Kincaid because we don't get a healthy season from him. So
Yeah,
okay.
what a shock. I did draft him in
Stop.
one league just because he was cheaper than he was last year, and he was coming into the year healthy, and he's been pretty good for the most
Yeah.
part. He's
Yes.
been one of their top players, and leaving last week with a hamstring injury when I needed like 5 more yards, 6 more yards to cash a prop. So Kincaid moves down the list. You could have sucked it up and got 1 7 more 8 yard catch to cash, and instead you leave. So trending down.
I hate when they hate our fantasy teams and our bets. It's just
Yeah,
like they
like
don't
come
care
on.
about us.
Just
What are they
be
doing?
just you appreciate the players that cash the prop before going out with injury.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it just for the Bills again. It looks like Khalil Shakir is going to be good to go. They still have a receiver problem. I don't know what more we need to say. Like Keon Coleman, yeah. If Khalil Shakir wasn't good to go in this game, obviously he'd get an upgrade. But it's just not been good. I've said the stats to you before, and the low A dot, it's just not been good. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, obviously, the must starts in this game when you have the Bills are two people: Josh Allen, James Cook. That's who you know that you're okay to start every single week. But again, Dalton Kincaid out in this one, and we'll see. It looks like Khalil Shakir is trending though in the right direction. So if you have him, that's at least better news going into Week 11. I wanted to go through players that you could potentially buy before the trade deadline, players that could potentially go hard for us, or players that maybe could go home. This is presented here by Mike's Hard Lemonade, the official drink of those who go hard for their league. And again, breaking down players that maybe you want to buy. What if I threw you one Jamison Williams, Adam? And I'm going to let you know these names for these players because we want potential league winners. They're not going to be cheap. You're going to have to pay for these guys, but that's what you want for this stretch. We've got 4 weeks until the fantasy playoffs. You want to look at players and their games in weeks 15, 16, 17. That's when most of these championship weekends are. So what if I asked you about Jamison Williams? I mean, ever since we've seen a shift over the last couple of weeks. We saw Dan Campbell taking over the play calling, and that's exactly what fantasy managers kind of waited for. He scored a season high 23.9 fantasy points last weekend, and it just looked really good. Are you buying him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we still know that there's that boomer bust nature, but it does feel like they have been making more of a concentrated effort to get him involved in the offense. And, Goff said on these slants that he's a cheat code. So they are trying to get him the ball less downfield now and more short and let him do his thing after the catch. Does have a tough matchup this week against Philly, but then Giants, Packers,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings. So mixed bag, but I think you're feeling way better about Williams with the way they've incorporated him into the offense more over the past couple of games.
I just think he's a wide receiver 3 that if you are buying into him and you need to get someone, again, like you said, they've got good home matchups weeks 12 to 14 as well. Green Bay, New York Giants, and then against Dallas as well. So if you need to make a playoff
A
push,
lot
it
of
might be
indoor
one with,
games too
hey,
after this week.
there we go.
Pretty much looks like because the game against at Chicago, that's week 17. So most
Mm.
people week 18. So most people don't have fantasy leagues that week.
Alec
Some do.
Pierce. Some do, and you shouldn't. I'll just say it. It's tough because sometimes, I mean, I don't know. That's just my
Some
thoughts,
years
Adam.
it's fine, and other years players are
Yes,
resting.
and then then you risk the rest. If a team is good to go, they've secured their spot. That's just the only thing that I don't like messing around with. So that's why I think week 17 is better. But it is your guys' league, so you can do whatever you want with it. Alec Pierce, this one. So Alec Pierce is a buyer. Again, we're going through players that could potentially go hard for you going into the final weeks of the season, going into the fantasy championships and playoffs. He's one we've talked about every single week. And before it's been pick him up off the waiver wire. Now we know he's pretty well rostered across leagues. If you're in a 12-team league, though, and he's still out there, which I could see, Adam, or if someone cut him this weekend because they're on a bye, go and pick him up. But what do you I mean, he is still widely available. He leads the league 20.9 yards per catch, scored 18.4 fantasy points in week 10. I'm looking at him as not only the guy that we say, okay, he's got this role that we just say, okay, if we see Daniel Jones loading up, we know he's going to go to him, but I'm looking at him for the future and saying he could also be a league winner.
Yeah, he's been heavily involved in the offense. They're taking shots downfield to him every game. I've been playing his longest reception prop, and it's been cashing every single week. I do have him in a league. Last week was actually the first week that I started him.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I have some pretty good receivers. Well, last week I had T. Higgins and Pickens on bye, so I put him in there. And then I have Olave on that team too. So,
wow, that's a nice team.
Yeah, it's tough to get him in there. Obviously, I don't have to make that decision this week. Next week I do. But the Colts do have a tough schedule upcoming. They're at Kansas City coming up in their next game. Then they got the Texans, Jacksonville, the Seahawks. So there's some tough matchups in there. And then I guess in the playoffs, you got 49ers week 15 or week 16, and then Jacksonville week 17. That game is at home. So the schedule does get tougher for him. But yeah, he's looked good, and Daniel Jones is looking for him constantly. And he's the type of player, too, that doesn't need massive volume to produce because he's making these big plays. He's getting these 30, 40-yard catches.
And it's the explosive plays too are the one things or the other things that set him apart. He has a catch of 30 or more yards in 6 of 7 games played this season. So, like you said, tougher matchups. They face week 12, it's at Kansas City, week 13, Houston. So those are not too easy matchups. But I think if you want someone that can give you that explosive upside and you are looking around at more specifically, if you don't have to trade for him, if you just can just pick him up, that's even better. He's still someone that I'm kind of looking at and saying, I really like this one down the stretch. One more here. What about, are you buying into, if you have the opportunity, if someone is allowing it, are you buying Jaylen Warren? Do you think he could go hard for you the rest of the way? If you're looking around at running backs and saying, all right, and maybe we can add DeAndre Swift into this conversation as well. But if you need a running back more specifically, those two feel like potentially good ones. But Jaylen Warren's one of my favorites to tell people if you can go and get him, do it.
Yes, for sure. We've already seen the volume increase, and then I think Tomlin came out and said we need to get Warren more touches. I mean, the touches have been there, though. The problem for him has been lack of touchdowns due to this offense. It's just 2 on the season. It should be better. He's involved in the passing game as well. So, yeah, I think Jaylen Warren is a guy that maybe people don't perceive him as that good, or he's been okay, where maybe he finishes the season really strong, especially if he can find the end zone. That's been the frustrating part if you have Warren. The 2 touchdowns came in one game too, against the Colts a couple weeks ago.
I'm looking at him because he's currently the RB19 in fantasy points per game for the season. So I could see where people would say like, oh yeah, Jaylen Warren, that's fine. But he has an interesting, I would say even better schedule coming up that I think there's a lot of meat left on the bone. Now, I will say fantasy playoff schedule, anytime you face the Browns week 17, it's probably something you want to avoid. And honestly, same with the Lions, because when I look at the fantasy boosts, Adam, they don't give up many fantasy boosts, but you do have the Dolphins in week 15. You have the Ravens in week 14, all the Bills, the Bears, the Bengals this coming week, right? That's the big one. So I'm looking at that stretch of weeks 11 to like 15, and that could be a really nice chunk of play for him, where I think there's still a lot of meat left on the bone. I think he's going to continue to rise, where I know he's RB19 right now, but I think he has the chance to crack top 15 if he's really able to produce in those games. So I have him as a mid-range RB2, but I do think that if you can trade for him, especially over the next month, like he's gonna get you fantasy points. I like it.
Yeah, the underlying metrics look really good as well. I'm hoping what I want to see is him more involved in the passing game because I think that's where he can excel. So that's something you want to pay attention to. But yeah, I think definitely for the next few weeks at least, he could be a difference maker.
Someone asked if they should trade for Alvin Kamara. What do you think? So Alvin Kamara actually with Tyler Shuck, though, wasn't bad.
I know. The
Should we
offense
just
looked
throw
better.
everything out the window that we said about Alvin Kamara this season?
I'm not ready to say that yet.
Okay.
I get last week was encouraging because the volume all of a sudden spiked up, and it was also a situation where we haven't seen this year very often for the Saints. They were playing from ahead. It was only their second win of the season. So 25 touches. And I wonder if that was partly due to the bye week coming, where they said, all right, we can give Kamara a big workload. Because before that, he had 7 touches, 8 touches, 14, 15. He was already starting to lose touches to Kendrick Miller. And then Kendrick Miller goes down. And it just hasn't been great, even in the passing game as well. That was the one thing that you thought. I understand, though, they do have, I think they have a pretty good schedule, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Let's see. So Falcons, Dolphins, Bucks, kind of tough. Panthers again. Jets, Titans. Yeah,
that's good.
Now,
that's
but
good.
the other factor is, because again, we saw this last year. Do they shut him down as they're trying to get that number 1 draft pick? And he's older and signed. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So we saw last year that they did shut him down. So that would be the one concern. Yeah, the schedule is nice, especially – you get the Jets in week 16 and the Titans in week 17.
And Carolina.
Yeah, but the production has not been great. He still needed, 25 touches last week to even get to double-digit points in a PPR?
Yeah, he had 14.5.
And, how many touchdowns is he going to score as well?
Well, he's got – how many does he have this year?
1. Yeah, back in week 1.
And no receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, so that's I guess he's the epitome of a buy low because he's been so bad, and people might look at last week and go, okay, let me trade him now. I'm still concerned, even with the schedule looking better, the quarterback play. Again, it was one game against Carolina. And did you see Carolina? They were basically like, yeah, we weren't ready for this. No, they're quotes coming out after the game.
Yes, it was horrible.
Like, really? Yeah, we got a little high on ourselves. You guys are five wins. You've done nothing the last few years. You're high on yourselves. You were too overconfident. You didn't practice well. Come on. Like, what is that?
They said, we heard that Kendall and Valenzuela picked us in Survivor, so we just didn't really try. We were just going in with all the confidence in the world.
We know she's very smart, so we figured it was a lock to win.
I'm still so mad about that. But it's an interesting potential, like you said, buy low or buy mid-range, because he's coming off the 14.5. But an interesting name to know nonetheless. That was go hard or go home. Potential guys that you can buy before the trade deadline, presented here by Mike's Hard Lemonade. We're going to continue on. I want to keep going through the matchup highs and lows. I want to talk about one Baker Mayfield, what to expect from Cortland Sutton this weekend, that and more here coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you have to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. And here is what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. You get the Sports Zone, every pro football game and over 1,000 college games. You get all the highlights. You get all the alerts all in one place. You also get the multi-view, so you can be in up to 4 stadiums at once. You also get the Xfinity fan view, so that means live scores, odds, and stats all in one place, personalized to you and your favorite teams. Enhanced 4K, voice remote, just say football. You get all of that. Imagine all of your football all in one place. Easy. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. This is Fantasy Life right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Friday. Not time to leave work yet, Adam, but it's getting close. What are you having for lunch today? I'm hungry.
I don't know yet.
Oh, you don't feel good. Maybe some soup.
Yeah, I don't.
Some soup? Like a grilled cheese. Oh, yum.
Grilled cheese? Nah.
What? You don't like grilled cheese?
Not really, no.
Oh, what? It's so good.
It's not one of my favorites.
Oh, I love it.
I don't remember the last time I even had it.
See, I can tell you is all the times that I've had it, because I've had it at least 4 times this month already.
Damn.
It's good. Like you put them into little bites. I shouldn't say 4. Maybe 4 in the past 2 months. Twice a month. It's an easy meal too.
Obviously.
Yeah. Come on. What are you doing?
Nah, it's not my thing.
Oh, it's so good with tomato soup. Yum.
Tomato soup of all the
What are you
soups,
talking?
tomato?
Are you crazy? You don't know that you have grilled cheese and tomato soup?
Tomato
What are you
soup
gonna
is
have
not.
with it?
No,
Cheddar broccoli?
I love cheddar broccoli
I know
soup.
it's so.
Broccoli,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe you should get that.
Spinach, chicken soup, anything like that. But tomato, nah,
Spinach.
that's not the.
Spinach soup?
Oh yeah, it's good.
Ugh, yuck. No.
Cream of spinach, yeah, very good.
I'm still hung up on that. You didn't know that. Like, you have to have tomato soup with a grilled cheese.
I don't eat grilled cheese.
All right.
And I don't like tomato soup either.
Oh, jeez. All right. Here we go. Now we're getting off track. Now's where we draw the line. Matchup, highs and lows. Wanted to talk about some guys that obviously were going up in the rankings, some guys going down. Can we Courtland Sutton. I mean, how bad has he gotten here, Adam? Because at this point, I don't think it's a hot take to say that Courtland Sutton is not a must start every single week because he just hasn't been doing it. And the emergence of Troy Franklin, too, is obviously cutting into Sutton's usage. That's the other part of this conversation. So this is a tough game against Kansas City already, but you have Troy Franklin. I mean, he's gotten 30.6% target share to Sutton's 19.7 over the past 4 weeks. And then again, only 3 wide receivers have scored as many as 15 fantasy points against the Chiefs this season. I mean, this is a tough matchup. He's definitely someone that fell down my rankings.
Yeah, I think it's more a Bo Nix problem than it is Sutton. It's also Sutton getting the top cover corners. And this is definitely a tough matchup. The thing with Sutton is, for me, it is very difficult to bench him just because he can get there with one play. I mean, there was a game, forgot who the matchup was, where he had a 30-yard touchdown. That was his only catch of the game. So, yeah, I get it. You're downgrading him this week for sure because of this matchup. But it has been disappointing because you expected better. But I think it's been Bo Nix is the problem. He has just not played well, and it's hurt Courtland Sutton.
You want some not great Bo Nix stats for yourself?
Oh, I know they're bad. Go ahead.
All right. So they're sitting at 8-2, right? And we're like, okay, great. Nix has completed only 60.9% of passes, and we've talked about the protection that he has. It's good protection that he has going into it. He leads the league. He led the league, I should say, in off-target passing in Week 10, and his season-long off-target rate, 13.7, is higher than only Davis Mills, Cam Ward, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams, and Tyler Shuck. That's not necessarily great names to only be ahead of.
No, it's not. Again, it's been bad when he's faced the bad defenses like Dallas, Cincinnati, and then that fourth quarter against the Giants where he had the 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns. He's been good, but outside of that, and then he couldn't even do anything against Vegas. And I know that was a short week, divisional game, and we see crazy things happen, but he couldn't take advantage of that matchup. And now a tough spot here against Kansas City. So I think it's really Bo Nix that has hurt Courtland Sutton. I don't think it's like Sutton is falling off or performing poorly. I think it's Bo Nix.
And listen, Nix has, for fantasy purposes, it's been one of those things where you just want to look away. And 5.8 fantasy points last week against Las Vegas, that's not good. So we'll see what he's able to do this weekend. Again, a great game. I'm really excited for this one. It goes Seahawks, Rams for me, and then it goes this game for the Chiefs and the Broncos, because the Chiefs really do have to win. As much as we can say that Bo Nix hasn't been good, they've been winning. I mean, they've got 8 wins on the season so far, Adam. So you have to at least give them that. They're winning and having success, obviously a lot in the fourth quarter, but 8-2 record, even though deceiving, they still have it. So there you go.
They do, and you give them credit for that, but they're going to need to see a lot better out of Bo Nix if they want to be taken seriously and make a run in the postseason, because I don't think anyone outside of Broncos fans are buying this team right now.
Yeah, and I don't even think Broncos fans are smart, and I think
not really.
They see it.
Every fan base has the most optimistic fans where they think their team is the best and never going to lose.
Through it. Have you seen Jets fans?
Well, the Jets don't win. They don't expect to win.
Count.
So they're used to, they expect losses. They expect things to go wrong.
Let me ask you one more.
I just look at the Jets, Aaron Rodgers' first year.
That's true.
He's marching out to the field with the flag. 2 plays later, his season's over, or 4 plays, whatever it was. But that's the Jets in summary. So they don't expect to win. Their team they could get off to a 6-0 start, and the Jets would be like, yeah, we're going to lose the next 11.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry, Jets fans, for the stray on this Friday. Hey, little bit of news here breaking. Darius Slayton is not expected to play in Week 11. The 1 week I was ready to start him, Adam, he said, you know what? I remember when Kendall spent $300 on me a few weeks ago, and I'm actually going to re-aggravate this hamstring injury. And so he's not going to play.
You need to
Dang
rage
it.
drop him.
No, because then you'll pick him up and he'll be fine.
Well, I would say yes, but I think my team is probably not going anywhere.
You don't think?
My team in that league? I mean, I might. Hey, there's a chance Bucky Irving plays, right?
He
was at practice.
Say, like,
do you think he goes?
No.
Okay, yeah, probably one more week, right?
Probably one more. But I mean, at least you saw him. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen him in weeks. He hasn't been out there.
Yeah,
so
I thought
he was out there.
I thought he was overseas getting like some treatment.
Get out of here. I don't think he goes, but I'd be happy to be wrong about that because I do have him on one team as well.
They definitely need him. They need him in that.
Do you not think though, if he did go this weekend, that he'd be a bit limited? That's the other question.
Probably. I would probably start him if he's then again, my other running backs are trash.
Say what?
But
of course you are.
Yeah, Chris Godwin was warming up too. He'd be. I'm more worried about him when he comes back. I
wouldn't start him if he's,
I would not start
able to go. He's just he's been really banged up. Man, now I have to take Darius Slayton out of my lineups, and maybe we see Brian Thomas Jr. But what's that going to get me? 2 fantasy points? 3? I might as well leave the position open. Whatever. All right, we're going to continue on. Our favorite flex plays for the weekend, which now I have to go look through. Adam, we'll go through our favorite flex plays, our final thoughts for week 11 here coming up next. Immaculate vibes. It is Friday, Adam. Pack it up. Go home. You're already home. Go get a grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. You won't.
That does not sound good. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, what sounds good? Go get the good cheesy broccoli.
That I prefer. Broccoli soup, yes.
Yeah, you need like a soup today. Everyone else can go join Adam too.
I do. I had soup a couple days ago. It was very good, but I could definitely use one today. What was it?
Spinach?
Chicken, vegetables.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds delicious. Oh, soup does sound good. It's raining here. It's going to be raining here for the next 5 days.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have soup weather right now here on the East Coast.
Oh, it's time. Or maybe like a chili. Ooh.
Yeah, that's fine too.
That sounds delicious. All right. What are we doing here? Favorite flex play. Talking about soup. We're breaking down the soups and the soup rankings for week 11. No, we're going through our favorite flex plays and then some of the last questions that I've seen here. Again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis on X if you want to go check it out and send in any questions. I do see one here. Start Jacoby Brissett or Geno Smith. And this, he's got Bowers as his tight end. Who would you go with there between Brissett and Geno?
Jacoby.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've got Brissett ranked higher. And it's not close, actually.
Yeah, I know it's the Cowboys, but it's hard to trust Geno Smith right now.
He's not been very good. You think Trey Tucker, though, or Tyler Lockett are potential? This is deep. I mean, these are deep flex plays when I'm talking about Lockett. Trey Tucker a little bit higher there. But do you think those are 2 options, though? Because we do like to pick on the Cowboys. And this is the Monday night game, so we'll break it down on when we come back on the air on Monday. But I do think that they're viable options. Not necessarily ones that you love, but if you're down bad, they could be good.
Yeah, for sure. They have the good matchup. Tucker's been on the field a lot. Lockett, I don't know why they're playing him, but I mean, it's Pete Carroll's guy.
Because it's Pete Carroll
they're
and
out
Geno.
of it.
They
You want to see. You would want to see some of the younger receivers, but hey, if they're gonna play Lockett like that in this matchup, sure, I think you can look at those receivers.
Yeah, I've got them. I mean, those are 2 options for sure. I think, you know what? Chris Rodriguez, I know he initially went out last week, but it looks like he was practicing in full yesterday. He missed with that, or I should say left with that shoulder injury. So Rodriguez, though, had the start against the Lions, and he was dominating when he started early in that game before he went down in the early snaps and the touches. So I'm looking at Rodriguez maybe as someone that, again, it's against Miami. It's international game, so I know that makes things a little bit weird here. But if you need a potential flex, a really low end RB2, maybe like high end RB3 this weekend, I think Chris Rodriguez could be on your radar.
Yeah, I do too. He is practicing in full, so good to go. And Miami has been vulnerable against the run. You just hope that they don't fall behind big and then they use McNichols on passing downs. But yeah, I do think if you're in a desperate situation that Rodriguez was starting to be the feature back there. Krosky Merritt has really struggled. So yeah, I think Rodriguez is I would gladly take Rodriguez in my GST league with the running backs that are terrible.
Do you have him? No.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, who are you starting this weekend?
Well, it depends on Bucky Irving. If Bucky Irving's active, I'm starting him. If not, Sean Tucker. So, we did see
it
Tucker.
Could be worse, though.
Yeah.
Tucker, yeah.
Well, then my other spots are pretty bad. It's like Emmanuel
those.
Wilson, and because Pacheco's out again.
Yep.
Well, not official, but
not officially, but
he's not going to play. He hasn't.
Yeah,
practiced.
Kareem Hunt could be someone that I know I don't have him, you don't have him, but he's another good spot in the flex. I heard Andy Reid made some comments that were not encouraging about Isaiah Pacheco's injury status, like not only for this week, but just in general. But we'll have to see if he continues to be able to go. It doesn't look like he will this weekend, but he had a 78% snap share in their last game without Isaiah Pacheco. So, and he was able to finish as the RB16 on the week. So if you have Kareem Hunt, this is another tough game. Like I will say that for Denver, but he's got to be potential flex though.
Yeah, you don't feel great about it, obviously, but he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the goal line carries. And that's a good thing they didn't give up a pick for Breece Hall.
Isaiah Pacheco. I didn't notice how often I drafted him until he went down with an injury.
Oh, I didn't. Look, all you need is one league like I do, and you notice it. So one league is too many.
All right, who wins this weekend? Give me your prediction for Seahawks Rams. What do you think?
I think the Rams are going to win. I do. Sorry.
I know. I don't have. I have a good feeling about it. I think it's going to be a great game, but I am a little bit nervous about that one. What about Chiefs Broncos? You think Chiefs run away with it?
Not run away, but they win.
Lions Eagles.
Lions.
All right, there we go. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today. We'll see you same time on Monday. Enjoy the weekend.